Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. A 25-year-old man is in custody tonight after allegedly firing a rifle at a home in Longford. Police tracked down the alleged offender after a chase that saw road spikes deployed on the Midland Highway. Our reporter Sean McComish has more.
Ethan Daniel Baker fronted the Launceston Magistrates Court this morning where he faced more than 30 charges, including assault, evade police and serious firearms offences. It's alleged the 25-year-old fired a rifle into a Catherine Street home at Longford during the early hours of Saturday morning. Later that evening he was spotted by officers allegedly driving a stolen car nearby, but refused to stop for police. Road spikes were used to stop the vehicle near Epping Forest, and the alleged offender was tracked down in bushland in possession of a stolen .22 bolt-action rifle. Mr Baker is facing a raft of charges, including recklessly discharging a firearm. He was also charged with unlawfully bringing items into a prison, namely methamphetamine. Mr Baker wore a torn T-shirt and struggled to keep his eyes open during proceedings. He was remanded in custody to face court again tomorrow.
Nearly 100 people have today gathered at Launceston's Cataract Gorge, expressing their anger over an attack on a woman while she was walking late last week. Police are still hunting the man responsible for the assault, but those marching on the crime scene today say they refuse to live in fear.
They gathered in raincoats at Cataract Gorge. Their message: we will not be afraid.
A week ago, a man chose an act of violence, and by choosing that act, he made sure that women who have always felt safe at the gorge feel less safe walking here. People from all around the community are standing up today and saying, well, no, we're going to take this place back. You can't make it a place that we don't feel safe.
Last Sunday, a woman in her 30s was grabbed by a man while on the Duck Reach walking track. The offender placed her in a headlock and covered her mouth. She managed to wrestle her way out before fleeing. But 1 week later, the attack has left a mark on the community.
Well, it's really scary seeing something like this happen here in Launceston, so it's really good to see the community come together to make you feel really safe and supported.
For people to be able to come anywhere and feel safe, this is one of the places, and we need to make sure that as a signal to people that this is just not okay for us not to feel safe here.
It is important that we do have the opportunity to just enjoy these places safely.
This is the man police want to speak to. He was described as wearing a khaki shirt and baggy track pants and is between 174 and 180 centimetres tall with blonde bushy eyebrows. He has a fair complexion, a slim build and weighs around 70 kilos and is likely in his mid-20s. Anyone who knows the identity of the man or with information is urged to contact police. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
An internationally acclaimed peace leader is visiting Tasmania and today joined a panel of local speakers to discuss how to be a compassionate and mindful leader. The Tibetan Buddhist monk sharing his insight with the public.
Even a leader in the family, lead the family with compassionate value. So I think harmony and happiness and unity and oneness, I think we'll be able to establish.
The Global Peace Award winner also speaking with Tasmanian filmmaker and activist Grace Williams.
How we can, as leaders, shift our current political atmosphere by advocating for more compassion and mindfulness in our leadership, and I do that through storytelling.
Geshe Zopa will travel to Snug tomorrow to host a group meditation session. Residents in several Hobart suburbs were left for hours without running water last night after a main pipe burst at the Waterworks Reserve at around 5 p.m. Properties in Glenorchy, Lutana and West Moona finally gaining access to water early this morning. Crews from Taswater have spent today flushing the mains to remove any sediment build-up during the water outage. Anyone still experiencing water discoloration is urged to contact Taswater. It's a disease that affects thousands of Tasmanians, and today around 250 people put their best foot forward to raise funds for Parkinsons disease research. Donning purple, those taking part in the 4th annual charity walk hope their efforts help find a cure.
A sea of purple flooding the Montrose Bay foreshore. Some even joined by their furry friends in a fight against a degenerative disease.
Today we're doing Fred's Walk for Parkinsons to raise awareness and funds for research into Parkinson's disease.
Well, they need all the help they can get to find a cure and maybe prevent it in the future. So it's going to could end up benefiting us in years to come, you don't know.
A cure desperately needed by the 3,000 Tasmanians currently living with Parkinson's disease. Wendy Favoretto was diagnosed 10 years ago and says every day is a struggle.
You know, just keeping up with day-to-day things, we tend to slow down. I call it a bit of a slow disease. You just slow down in your thinking, the way you do things. So yeah, it can have a big impact on your life.
But we have no idea what causes it, and therefore we can't reduce our risk of getting Parkinson's.
The Fred Binns Parkinson's Foundation, named after a Tasmanian who died from the disease in 2013, raising nearly $4,000 in the 4th annual walk, with the funding going towards new local research.
We're halfway through funding a PhD student at Menzies, and our aim is to add to that as we grow.
Today's efforts taking Tasmanian researchers one step closer to finding a cure. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
Glenorchy has celebrated 100 years as a club in style with a dominant win over North Hobart at KG5 overnight. The young D's once again showed serious improvements on last year, but the Pies' big guns proved too much to handle for the visitors. Trading in the black and white strip for the green and gold heritage jumpers, the Pies set about doing it proud by booting the first 2 majors of the match. The D's wouldn't be bullied, however, with Brad Tilbury answering back for the visitors, Harrison Gunther loading up from outside the arc to extend the lead back to 2 majors before Pies skipper Braden Webb made it 3 with 1 after the siren. One of the competition's standouts so far this season, last night was no exception for former Clarence forward Aidan Grace, who kicked his 3rd with no room to work with. But North Hobart showed similar heart to last weekend's season opener with Lauderdale to keep things from blowing out on the scoreboard. Daniel Joseph giving the Pies camp cause for concern, taken off the ground in the arms of the trainers, before Grace made it goal number 4 to see the home side up by 15 at the main break. Things slowed right down in the 3rd, with Jay Bowden slotting the only major of the quarter, and with the D's all out of answers, the Pies took advantage as Grace booted his 5th and last for the match, with Ben Camerick sealing the 41-point win right on the final siren. Basketball and the Launceston Tornadoes have fallen painfully short of securing their first win of the NBL 1 season and going down by just 2 points to Nunawading overnight. Things proving a bit more difficult for the Northwest Thunder, who were given a harsh reality check on the court. Looking to back up last weekend's solid win over the Sabres, the Thunder were able to match it bucket for bucket with Nunawading in the first term. It was a different story in the second as the Spectres began to exert their dominance on the match to take a handy 10-point lead into half-time. The boys from the Northwest settled slightly in the 3rd, with Nick Baynard putting on 18 points to help give his side every chance heading into the final break. But the Thunder were unable to shake things up in the last as the visitors recorded a comfortable 13-point win. Keen for their first victory in the new comp, things didn't go according to plan early for the Tawns in front of the Launceston faithful as the Spectres helped themselves to a 9-point buffer come half-time. Import Brittany Hodges doing everything she could to turn things around, starring with 29 points as the home side began to rally. The Tawns leaving it all on the court to set things up for a nail-biting finish, but the visitors were able to hold on, claiming a 2-point win to leave the Elfin Stadium crowd deflated. The Soccer and Devonport have cemented themselves as the NPL title favourites in today's clash of the Titans with South Hobart at Valley Road, with the Strikers scoring late in the match to dish South its first loss for the season and stay undefeated on top of the table. Overnight, Olympia staked their own claim on the title, securing 2nd spot on the ladder with a 1-0 win over Launceston City. Jack Hale has once again fallen short of running a qualifying time for the World Championships, with the Tasmanian sprinter having to settle for bronze in the 100 metres final at the Australian Championships in Sydney overnight in a time of 10.33 seconds. It was a better result for Dion Kenzie and Will Robertson, who claimed gold medals in the 800 metres ambulant men's open event and the under-17 men's 5,000 metre walk. Meantime, Amy Cure's strong start to 2019 continued at the National Track Championships in Brisbane, with the Tasmanian taking home silver in the women's 25-kilometre points race. Holden driver Shane van Gisbergen has ended the dominance of Mustang to take out the second leg of the Tasmania Super Sprint at Symmons Plains and register his first win of 2019. The New Zealander won from pole position on the final day of racing to beat out Fabian Coulthard and David Reynolds on a drizzly day at the iconic Tasmanian circuit.
Oh man, good to get one back. What an awesome race. Fabian kept getting me out of the pits and I had a good battle with him and Scotty, but yeah, made a huge step forward with our car. So thanks to Red Bull Holden Racing team. It's been a mega week to bounce back from our shocker last time.
Scott McLaughlin finishing up in 4th place to hold on to the overall series lead. The next round is at Phillip Island beginning this Friday. Some big crowds out there too, Rach, so good to see Tasmanians supporting motor racing once again.
Good evening. Hobart had the state's high of 22 today, along with friendly beaches. Launceston 17, Burnie 19 and Devonport 18. Flinders Island and Ouse 20 today, 19 at St Helens, Strawn, Lowhead, Smithton and King Island 17 degrees, 12 for the Harts Mountains and Lyawini 10 degrees. The satellite shows patchy low-level cloud across the state. Patchy low-level cloud lies along the east coast of Queensland in an onshore flow, while tropical cyclone Wallace sits to the north of northwest WA, with the associated monsoon trough lying over northern Queensland and the Northern Territory. Tomorrow shows the cold front in the Tasman Sea extending a trough into New South Wales. Another cold front lies to the west of Tasmania with a high pressure system to the south of Western Australia. Tropical cyclone Wallace remains off the Kimberley coast and the monsoon trough sits just to the north of Australia. A look to the coastal waters now. Winds west to northwesterly 20 to 30 knots, reaching 30 to 40 knots about the south and west. Seas 2 to 4 metres. Warnings for Monday: a gale warning for southern and western coastal waters and a strong wind warning for all remaining coastal waters. A small craft wind alert is current for the southwest and central plateau lakes. Showers right across the state tomorrow. Hobart 18 along with Dover, 17 for Ouse, 17 degrees in Launceston and Devonport, Scottsdale 16 degrees. 17 in the west tomorrow at Burnie, Strawn and Stanley. And St Helens 18, 19 for Swansea and Ross 16. Looking ahead now to Tuesday, showers about the west, south and Bass Strait Islands, but mainly fine elsewhere. Light showers in the west and far south on Wednesday, fine elsewhere. And for Thursday, similar conditions again. A sunny day tomorrow for Perth, Canberra, Sydney, Brisbane and Alice Springs. Showers expected for most other major centres. Currently it's 18 and partly cloudy in Hobart, Launceston 14 and cloudy, Devonport 15 and mostly cloudy. Showers expected across the state tomorrow, Rachel, so don't forget to pack the umbrella.
No, I'm sure I've got it ready. Thank you for that, Carmen. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Thank you.